Welcome to the Burrow. It's your host, Lala Bunny, head trader at Bimbo Trading Academy. And the topic of this video is millennial job hopping. So, my birthday's tomorrow, and I'm turning 38. And I realized that I've probably had almost 38 jobs by the time I was 38. So, I actually listed them all. And yes, I have had over 38 jobs in my life. Now, I haven't stayed at them all for long, obviously, but I have been employed uh, in various capacities. These are the ways that I've earned money so far. So, yeah, I've been paid hourly, per diem, which means by the day. I've had a salary. I've had positions with health benefits. I've also had gigs. I've sold merchandise. And now I'm transitioning to be more entrepreneurial. And I've had a shift in mindset where working for the past 20 years of my life, it didn't get me the results that I wanted because I don't own a home right now. And that's something that's really important to me. So, right now, moving forward, my goal is to own a home. And I know a lot of millennials are struggling and with those very same circumstances where you're like, I've worked for 20 years, but what do I have to show for it? So now I'm getting serious about saving and investing and starting my own businesses. I don't ever want to have a boss again. I like to control my own time, follow my own schedule, manage my own goals and productivity. And I've always had an irregular sleep schedule. So I haven't been able to fit very well into society. So moving on, now that I've reached this age, I'm almost 40, and I know I've been able to figure out instead of doing what other people tell me I need to do, I am looking at myself, looking at my needs, and then building my life accordingly, or what some people might say, reverse engineering your life based on your goals. So if I want to be able to, let's say, take my dog out for a walk in the middle of the day, then I need a source of income that's going to allow me to do that versus being at a job where I have to hire someone to come home and take care of my dog. So if this all goes well, I'll never have to ask for vacation time again. I don't want permission from my job in order to travel, and PTO is just annoying. So, like the fact that you can submit and you have to get approved to use your time off, I think that's actually messed up. And I know y'all can relate. Uh, yeah, I've even had overtime. I've had night shift jobs. So I do understand the struggles that workers in this current economy are facing. And here is the list of 38 jobs by age 38. Starting with babysitter. Oh, these are not all chronological. At the beginning they are, but then I just started listing them. There's too many. So, babysitter is a first job a lot of people get because it's cash. You can do it before you turn 16 and legally, and it's just something a lot of women I know get into that early on because uh well, I don't want to make any generalizations there, but babysitting was one of my first jobs. Next, desk attendant at a pool, age 16. That was my first job where I actually got a paycheck and I just sat at the pool all summer. And when the members came in, I would take their card, if they have a guest, sign them in. And throughout the day, like check the bathrooms. One time I even had to do an emergency, like sometimes deal with emergencies. And when they would rent like like we would have all the games and stuff behind the desk. So if they're like, oh, I would like the basketball, I need the volleyball, I was 16 years old. So I was behind the desk and just making sure everyone's needs were met at the pool. And that was my first job. So then I was an assistant to an environmental specialist for the county parks department, and we dealt with a lot of invasive plant removal. I was very interested in the environment at that time. I was in college, I was an intern in New Orleans at a historic preservation nonprofit. And I also worked at a farm stand in upstate New York where I was literally like knee deep in apples, like huge wooden, like, I don't know what you even call them, of apples, where we were putting them into the little baskets. And I learned what actually is a bushel and a peck. But that was fun to work at a farm stand. I worked at a juice bar. I've been a dog walker. I've been a delivery driver, and that includes Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart. I've tried many. I was a yoga instructor. I worked at a kids' party place. This was an indoor bounce house. You know those places. So I would literally be like catching the kids as they come down the slide and stuff, and then we'd go to the party room and have the pizza and the cake, and so that was my job. I like working with kids. I've done a lot in that sort of area. So I was an after-school program tutor. I've actually taught coding, nutrition. We've done community service projects, a lot that I'm really proud of, like painting a mural, cleaning up, like helping with a community garden, things like that. Camp counselor. I did canoeing and team building. And I worked also at an antique shop. This one, I would assist the customers and basically like carry items for them to the register, to the car. And I had keys where I would open up the cases if they wanted to see certain items. It all sounds pretty random. I've done a lot. So then I did try to start my own business once, and I made and sold bath and body products, and they were very like natural, organic. They were really great, and I'm glad that I learned how to make all that stuff for myself, and I made a good friend through that business. So I'm very grateful for that business. It didn't last long because I was more of a maker than the business end of it. Like I'm more of a creator. So at the time, it would have been I would have approached it differently, but you don't have hindsight. Like it was just my first stab at starting a business, and yeah. So I have been a caregiver for an adult with autism. I've been a guidance counselor at a summer camp, a youth counselor at foster homes for kids and teenagers. I was part of a street tree inventory team. That is where we like went around a neighborhood with little clipboards and we were assessing the condition of the trees, like if they were sick and dying, if they were touching the power lines, if they needed to be like um if they needed any attention or if they were healthy, things like that. So that was fascinating. That was a fun job because we got to walk around outside for most of it. I did landscaping at a college. I was an arboretum intern. I was a programming assistant for a human rights project. I was an usher at a performing arts center. I was an assistant to the director of an ecology center. I also was an intern at another environmental organization, and I actually did some GIS mapping, which is totally awesome. I really like don't use that in my daily life, and I wonder if I'm ever going to use it again, but it's pretty cool. It's a good skill to have. I was a special education and teacher in Compton, California, and I did this online, remote, in person. I taught math and reading. I've actually done farm work on a farm. I catered a wedding. I worked in a plastic factory. That didn't last too long, but we were sorting bottles. It was very fast paced. Um, I worked in a fashion warehouse. That way we were actually like checking the clothing items for tags. Like, you know, those tags that people put on that so you don't steal the item and they like explode with ink or whatever, or they just beep, beep, beep when they go off, like at the machines in the mall, whatever. So we were making sure all the clothes had tags on them before they got sent out. I worked in an industrial bakery that was very intense. So the factory work did not last for me because the pace was just is so fast. So anyone who works in a factory, I know you know what I'm talking about. You're on your feet the whole time too. Like you were on your feet for the whole shift. I worked for a temp agency. I was a credential specialist, which was mostly like data entry. I participated in those consumer panels, like taste testing new products. I was a substitute teacher. I was an Amazon seller. I sold textbooks. I'm getting parched from listing all these jobs. So excuse me for a moment. All right, let's wrap it up. So I was a still am professional organizer where I help people with clean outs, moving and garage sales, things like that. I've sold clothing online, and one time I did sell my used underwear to someone. So that's a little fun fact there. I have been an adult actress and an OnlyFans creator. I am now a day trader. This is my passion. So as you can see, I've moved around a lot, and I've settled on something that I believe I can do for the rest of my life. I am now a YouTuber, amateur YouTuber, we'll say, a coach for traders, and I also sell merch for traders. So please check out my store. I spend a lot of time on it. I think it's like a perfect fit for traders. Like there's one jacket that says bullish on it. So if you're a trader, you'll understand what that means. I want to explain them all one day, but things like buy the dip, just like little terms that if you're in the trading community, you'll get it. Um, okay, so I've had a little over 38 jobs. I've gained life skills and experience along the way, and I've had to interact with a lot of people. So I've been learning from my students, coworkers, parents, managers, bosses, clients. I've definitely been out there. And I've been to college and, excuse me, graduate school. So I actually studied biology, environmental science, physical education, and special education. I have a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. I majored in human rights, and I had a concentration in science, technology, and society. And I'm not currently looking for work because I enjoy trading. So I'm going to do everything in my power to turn this from, a hobby to a side hustle to an actual career. I want to be a full-time trader. I will do side hustles on the side until I can transition to being a full-time trader. But trading is more of a means to an end. It's a way to generate income. I will trade for life, but I also do want to start some businesses and get involved in real estate after I have more capital. My future ambitions, I do want to run a dog rescue organization. So it just breaks my heart how many dogs get euthanized and how many great dogs do not have homes. So anything I can do along the way, I want to donate to other dog rescues, and I'd like to start my own. Whenever I get situated wherever I'm at, I definitely have plans for that. Um, and then my main purpose in life right now is I want to design an eco village consisting of shipping container homes, and that will be my legacy, something physical and creative that I can leave behind for future generations. And in addition to all the lives I've already impacted, because I have affected a lot of, I've taken care of a lot of people in my life. I firmly believe that shipping containers are the future. There are tons of units sitting empty. They can be repurposed for housing. We're in the middle of an affordable housing crisis. I believe shipping containers are the answer for this crisis. Um, you know what? I'm gonna say my business name now so that no one can copy it. It's called Cubic Living Systems, and that's going to be my business for building these shipping container homes. And specifically, the populations I want to help are like veterans, people who've former foster youth, people who have been incarcerated before, basically vulnerable populations who need housing, especially victims of domestic violence, or I should say survivors of domestic violence. And let's see. That's really it. So, oh, the benefits of shipping containers are that um, they are very efficient for heating and cooling, and they're more resistant to natural disasters than traditional building materials. So you're not going to get like the mold that you would get with other materials. You're not going to get the fire risk of them burning down or flooding risk because they're just easier to maintain. You can like coat them with rust proof paint. I gotta redo that. All right. Anyway, so when you support me and this channel, you're also supporting the vision of ending homelessness for all. Specifically, this populations who I would like to help, I mentioned before. So now, can y'all relate to having multiple gigs and jobs? I would like to hear about some of your most interesting jobs below. So leave it in the comment and please hit that like and subscribe button. I want us all to succeed. Happy trading.